Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our YouTube channel. So we have another video with us today, and we have Dr. Diksha Attrish, who has been a research scholar at IIT Bombay. She has also been a recipient of France Excellence Eiffel Fellowship Award, and she would be giving you some insights on how to obtain this particular fellowship, what are the application procedures, when can you apply, and all the necessary details. Of how to crack this particular fellowship. So we won't much delay it, and we would just like her to give her a brief introduction about herself and about the particular fellowship. Hello, Dr. Diksha.
Hi, Ankit.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you
could you
for
just
having
let
me
us
for
know?
this
Yeah, sure,
discussion.
sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I will share my screen. Let me know.
Sure, sure.
I hope it's shared.
Yes, shared. We can see it.
So first of all, I would appreciate your efforts because you're doing great. Because a lot of students are asking questions regarding the fellowships that we receive, and it's a great platform to share all the knowledge. So let me briefly introduce myself. I did my master's from Delhi University, and then I moved to IIT Bombay for PhD under Professor Rahul Purwar. And during this time, I applied for France Excellence Eiffel Fellowship, where I applied for this exchange program in IPBS Toulouse, and I was fortunate enough to receive this fellowship. So let's just start with the thing. What is this fellowship? So this fellowship is actually hosted by Campus France, and it's a yearly fellowship where the timeline is it's like it starts in the October, and the deadline of the fellowship is like it's in the January. It ends in the January, but for you people, like for the students who are applying, they have a deadline which is decided by the university itself. So it's generally ends in the November or the December, not in the January. So you have to keep this in mind. And the results are usually published in March, like the last week of the March or the first week of April. And the age limit is it's like the master student can apply up to 29 years of age, and the PhD it's good. The candidates having 35 years of age they can apply for it.
Great, great. So next, I would like to ask you, what are the areas where this fellowship can be availed, and what's the eligibility criteria? I mean, the scholars who are in a particular year, like the first year or second year, if they can apply, or if they are ending their tenure towards the end of their tenure, like the fourth, fifth year, if they can apply, or what's the optimum time for the application?
Yeah, so actually this fellowship serves dual purpose. So what happens that if you are enrolling in a master's program, then also you can apply for the like you can go for masters in France through this program. You can go for PhD also through this program. So it provides a scholarship throughout your master's program and throughout your PhD program. But in case if you have already enrolled in your native country, like you are in first year of your masters and you want to have year exposure abroad, then also you can apply for this France Excellence Eiffel Fellowship. And if you are in first or second or third year of your PhD, even then you can apply for this France Excellence Eiffel Fellowship, though the duration will be less in this case, like because you have already completed certain years of your program in your native country, then rest of the years required for your degree completion will be completed in the France. So basically, the people who are studying the like science and technology, including biology and health, ecological transition, mathematics, and engineering sciences, they can apply for this fellowship. This fellowship supports these people. People in humanities and social sciences, like the history, law and political science, economics and management, they can also apply for this fellowship. This is a great fellowship for these people because it gives a good exposure, like the cultural exposure, the people. This I would say I was the PhD, like I received this fellowship during the PhD, so I got to know a lot of scientists. So yes, it is a great exposure. If you are considering to apply for it, then please go ahead. And yes, one of the important point is that you can apply it during your masters. Like this fellowship is for both for masters and for PhD people.
Nice. And like, what's the optimum level? Like, if I want to apply it in my early stages of PhD, can I
Mhm.
apply? Or if I want to apply in the late stages of PhD, of course, we know in the middle stages it would be very like very much like the best favorable stage would be the on the in the middle stages of PhD. But just
Yeah.
a question which many people ask right now.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the most important question that one should consider while applying for this fellowship. So the thing is, when you apply for this, you should be very much sure that yes, you have certain data with you, and this fellowship should be the extension of your PhD work. It should not be the start of your PhD work if you're already enrolled in your native country. So I would say the middle age or the late part of your PhD can be like you can apply during that time, because the fellowship procedure is already taking a year, so you should plan it in advance. Like you can plan it in your second or third year, and then you can go there in fourth or fifth year. Then I would say this is the best way to have this fellowship.
Okay, okay, understood. So, my next question is, so as far as I have heard, this particular fellowship is somewhat similar in the lines of a Raman Charpak fellowship.
Mhm.
The the gist is that in case of other fellowships like Fulbright and all, we have to draft a proposal, then we have to submit that on the basis of we get such selected for the interviews and all. But in this case, what I have heard is that the main selection is based on the quality of the proposal that you draft. So could you just let the applicants know that how can we improve that particular proposal? What's the total process? How do you like on a personal perspective, can you explain that how to make those proposals better and get a good
Yeah,
approach? Yeah,
actually, you are right that research proposal is one of the most important thing to apply for this fellowship, because this is a very competitive fellowship, and they select a very few people. Like in my case, they just selected two people when I applied for this fellowship. So to go, like I would first let you know like how to write the research proposal. What are the important points for a research proposal? So first of all, in research proposal, your research proposal should be the extension of your PhD work, and in your research proposal, you have to provide some data based on which you are building your hypothesis and proposing your objectives. So it should look like that you have some real data, and that data is really good, and which is supporting your hypothesis very well. So it gives the confidence to the evaluation committee that yes, this work is doable, and the host laboratories in the France are able to do it. So this is a kind of collaboration thing. So
right.
this is one of the most important thing in the research proposal, that it should feel like this is that you are not proposing something, I would say, like which is not doable. It should be real, like in the real world, it should be doable, and it should justify the timeline and the data that you have. So it should be extension of your PhD work, which will give you the raw data, like not the raw data, but at least some data.
On the similar lines.
On the
Dr. Atrish, could you just slightly zoom in into your slides so that it's
yeah,
the font is visible?
yes.
Yeah,
I hope.
yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please
So,
carry on.
yeah, so these are the two principles, that the work should be extension of your PhD work, not completely, but it should match. Like you can make that proposal in a way that it is a like you can make sure that the host laboratory has all the things that is through which you can justify your proposed objectives, and you should also justify the timeline that you are, since this fellowship gives you the flexibility to apply for different timelines. For example, if you're applying in third year of your PhD, you can apply for 12 months. So you should justify your work that yes, in 12 months this is doable. If you're applying in second year of PhD, you can ask for a timeline of 24 months, which is 2 years. So you should propose your proposal accordingly, considering the timeline. So there are other things as well, that for example, your research title should be very clear, specific, and concise. Your background and rationale should be like should fill the current knowledge gap, and you should literally provide a thorough literature review. It should be concise, but it should be very clear. Yes, the preliminary data is really mandatory. If you don't provide the preliminary data and just propose your hypothesis and just based on the literature review, it feels like that that doesn't feel like a strong research proposal for this application. And based on the data, you are providing your hypothesis and research questions, and you have to accordingly provide the objectives. And the objectives should be realistic, measurable, and achievable within the proposed timeline. Next thing is you should give a research plan and methodology that the host laboratories has these established techniques, and you are going to utilize that techniques in your research proposal, which again gives the confidence that yes, this the candidate has approached a suitable laboratory, and the supervisor is also suitable for the particular candidate, which is a plus point for the application. And again, the work plan and timeline is also a must for this proposal. So you can plan the schedule of your research proposal in form of a Gantt chart, which provides that your aim one on aim, in particular aims will be achieved in particular durations. Again, the next thing is you can provide your collaboration and other things also in your research proposal, that the lab you are applying to, the host lab, is how the host lab is suitable for your research proposal. You can add a single or a two line, which again will be a plus point for your application. And yes, you should provide your expected outcomes and impact, like what you are expecting in the particular timeline with this proposal, with this particular host supervisor. Then yeah, so these are the few points that you should remember if you're applying for this France Excellence Eiffel Fellowship.
Great.
So that's one of the most important thing you should consider if you're applying. And I would like to say that here I would like to add one thing. You don't need to write your research proposal by yourself. First of all, you will identify your supervisor. Then with the help of supervisor, you will write your research proposal, modify it, and then you can work on the research proposal accordingly. So let me show you like how this application process goes. So first of all, for this fellowship, you first identify a potential supervisor, where you mail your supervisor based on your interests. So you can directly mail the French university, or they can find a supervisor for you, or you can directly mail the supervisor based on your interests. Then if you are mailing the university, the university will contact the supervisor. They will give your CV they will circulate your CV in the university. If any of the supervisor finds your CV interesting, they will contact you. So you will contact the supervisor in this way, and then you will inform the supervisor that yes, you want to apply for this IFA fellowship. If you can support my application, you can talk to the supervisor in this way. Then you will prepare and submit the application. There are a lot of documents actually for this fellowship, and I will let you know what documents you need to apply for this fellowship, because this fellowship takes a year. So you need to plan it very well in a year advance to apply for this fellowship. And then once you have submitted the documents to your supervisor, then the university will evaluate your application, and it will shortlist the candidates based on your academic excellence, the research potential, and alignment with the proposed program actually. So your application will be selected by the university, and once your application is selected by the university, they will send these nominated applications to the campus France. Since this fellowship is given by the campus France, so campus France will evaluate the candidates again according to their criteria. And if you are lucky enough, then you can get the fellowship. So this
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
whole procedure.
Great, great, Dr. Diksha. So, I think you have almost covered everything which was needed for
Mhm.
this particular um, video. Lastly, I would just like to ask if you could just shed some light on how was your overall experience
Uh,
of the tenure which you were in France, and were there any kind of hurdles or when you went to France, and how did you overcome it in a brief manner?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I will come to your question, but before that, I would like to share one more thing.
oh,
So I
sure,
would
sure.
like to show the students like what are the documents that you require for this fellowship, because this is
Oh,
also one of
yes,
the important part. So
yes, yes.
first, your CV. So your CV is also like you should make a proper coherent CV which reflects all your abilities. It should be precise, not detailed one. And then next is the after CV, you should have your research proposal, of course, is one of the thing. Then there should be a collaboration agreement between your host supervisor and your native supervisor. Since it's you are going for an exchange PhD, it's kind of a collaborative work. So you need the collaboration agreement. After that, you need the financing plan also, like how your research is going to be financed. Further, you need the motivation letter because you need to provide the motivation to take the committee in confidence that yes, you are the right candidate for this fellowship. Further, if when you are writing your research proposal, then you need a separate opinion on your thesis project by some scientist. So that scientist could be from India, could be from France. Your supervisor can help you. Your native supervisor, the host supervisor can help you with this.
Okay.
And whoever the scientist is providing the research opinion on your thesis project, you need the CV of that particular scientist to support your application. And then you need a recommendation letter also from your native supervisor. Then you need the support letter that the supervisor has agreed to support your application for your this France Excellence Eiffel Fellowship. And yes, there is one important document which is called FSC clearance. So before you consider to apply for this fellowship, ask your supervisor to apply for this FSC clearance because it is required for every student whoever goes to the France. It's kind of a like they get this, it's kind of a clearance that one gets from the defense section of the France. So it is mandatory for everyone whoever visits to the France. So this process itself takes I guess 6 to 8 months. So plan it in advance. And then further, you require your PhD registration certificate. So keep all these documents ready before you're planning to apply for this fellowship. Though some of the documents will be prepared during your procedure, like when you have contacted your supervisor, like the collaboration agreement and the financing plan, they will be generated later on based on your suitability. And then the research opinion CV of the scientist, again they will you will get it on of course in the later part of the procedure. But there are some documents, for example, like FSC clearance and your PhD registration certificate, your motivation letter, CV, all these things you should prepare for yourself.
It's a very nice representation. Thank you, Dr. Attrish, for this. Yeah. Could you shed some light on your journey and how, if there was any obstacles on how do you face that?
Yeah, so the thing was, I was actually fortunate enough to have a good supervisor in France. She was very supportive. She
Okay.
supported me in everything actually, starting from this whole procedure. She applied for the FSC clearance in advance for me and then guided me throughout the whole procedure. After that, when I arrived in the France, so there is this thing called toolbox. You apply for things like that. So where you get the SIM card, metro card, and things like. So she was actually very helpful. So I would say that in general, people in France are helpful. It's just you should know the language a little bit. So if you're planning to go for these fellowship, then start learning the French. I started it, but I was really not good at it. But still, I managed somehow.
Bonjour. Yeah.
For sure, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can start learning the language if you are planning and you are serious about this. And the obstacle, there were not many obstacles. It was just the visa thing you should be careful about because the people in the visa section, they really don't understand that what is this fellowship for and how the visa should be processed. Because in
Okay.
what happens, the embassy, French embassy, generally now these days they are giving visa just for 3 months, but since if you're applying for this fellowship, you have proposed a timeline of 6 months or 12 months, you need a 1 year long visa. So you need to specify it in the embassy that yes, it should be the 1 year visa, not the 3 months visa, because the proposed timeline is this accordingly. And rest of the things actually were smooth for me. I had there people are helpful, so you can get a lot of help. And also, yeah, so things were good
I think
actually.
once you are fortunate to get this fellowship, everything falls in place gradually.
Everything
All the
falls.
processes, yeah,
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
able
And
to
then you will
mitigate.
eventually figure it out if something comes up. Like in my case, there were like this visa thing was happened with me. So they first of all they issued the 3 months visa, and then I actually asked them that I'm going there for 1 year, so I need a 1 year visa. They canceled my visa and then they reissued my 1 year visa. So this was the thing which I
Okay.
figured it out somehow.
Okay.
And I would say rest of the things would be good. People are good there,
Right.
so
Right.
they are
Right. Right.
good.
Great. Great, Dr. Disha. I think you can stop sharing your screen and I think we have almost covered everything.
Yeah,
So anyhow, if and I will give your details on LinkedIn profile and everything on the description. If anyone needs any more advice or any counseling from regarding this fellowship, they can always approach you and they can always comment. So it was very helpful for the students, and thank you so much for giving your time joining us today. Thank you
yeah.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you. I will be happy to help if there will be any query
Sure,
with
sure, sure. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Have a good